Alright, today we're having a look at Stocktown by Night by Track 9. Alright, so yeah, hi, had a bit of a break in the voice there. Alright, so here we are in Stocktown by Night by Track 9. It's a little slice of LBP2, hopefully goodness, first time looking at it, but I'm loving the way that it looks. Now, we do have a created music track here, which is a bit loud, and hopefully that's not going to drown out my voice too much, but if it does, I do apologize. Missed out on that, not really a super secret prize bubble, but a prize, not a prize bubble, a super secret point bubble. Got it! Nailed it! Hopefully there's an easier way to get up. There we go. Yes! There's always an easier way! You know, sometimes it just involves hitting things, but, hello? Is there something I can grab? That doesn't seem like it was supposed to happen, but maybe, like, I see another R1 up there. I hope this is not a break. That is one worry, because it is a Little Big Planet 2 level, and Little Big Planet 2 levels, there we go. I see what we need to do. I screwed it up, but I see what we need to do. Oh my god, I haven't actually started the clock. Hello. Well, this might be a bit longer, because it's too late to stop now. Now, I think Stocktown is a city in Sweden. I'm going to have to take a look at the title page again and check that out. Because I know that Track 9 mentions that it's their hometown. We could do this. We could do this. We could do this in under 3 minutes. Surely we can. You know, I do like to stick by the 3-minute time limit. But sometimes, you know, you just screw things up. Jordy Verrill, you screwed it up! That's not actually what the line is. And we've discussed before that I don't remember who screwed what up. I know what got screwed up. The judge's face got, like, blown all the pieces. And Randall Flagg was very unhappy about that. And he's got double-jointed thumbs. That seems to be, like, a big point of the character who screwed things up, fear of Randall Flagg. The thumbs, I think, are going to go into the eyeballs. I'm loving this level, though. I'm really liking it. It's got a nice, smooth flow to it. I do need to pay attention to the level, but I can also kind of enjoy myself at the same time, which is always appreciated. As we've mentioned previously, the look is just slick. It is a very, very nice looking level, and I appreciate levels that have their own look to them. They're not trying to necessarily ape another style. I do like realistic environments. I think realistic environments can be nice, but sometimes those realistic environments lack a bit of character, and there definitely is character in how these buildings have been designed. Nice choice of colors as well. It's bright enough that I don't know what happened there. It's bright enough that we can actually track movements, track what's going on, but it's not so bright that we don't actually get the feeling of Stocktown at night. We got stuck, but we're not stuck anymore. And did we do it in under 3 minutes? I'm not sure, but we're going to find out. We're going to talk about this back at the hub, and we will see you there. See yas! And we're back, and Stocktown by Night by Track 9. And I would say it's a pretty solid on Yellow Square. It's definitely got a few points against it, but overall I found it to be a very enjoyable experience and a relatively short experience, which these days I've been appreciating an awful lot. Now, mentioned in the level select page, the title page for this, that Track 9 tells us that this level's being inspired by Paris is for Lovers by TOBSN 08. And Tumbledown Avenue by Remeded, who we've looked at before in the series. So I went and I checked out those levels as well. And while I found those levels to be more artistically distinct, more visually distinct, and particularly with Paris is for Lovers, going for a bit of a bigger bite as far as gameplay mechanics, I did find Stocktown by Night had a much better flow to it. It was easier for the most part to get to point A to point B and to understand, generally speaking, where you were supposed to be in the level at any given time, although not always, as we are going to discuss. Now, I did like Stocktown by Night's presentation quite a lot. I like that distinct visual style of it. It is, as I said, it's a bit stripped down, particularly compared to Paris is for Lovers, which is it's very ornate, it's very gaudy, it's very gorgeous. STOCKTOWN by Night doesn't have quite as much going for it, but again, in that sense, I think that it does make it a little bit easier to keep track of where you are in your character. Where you are in the level, excuse me. As far as the gameplay, it's relatively simple. It's probably not going to be very challenging to players. It's very standard. Track 9's not doing anything that is really messing about with how we interact with the hello, my brain. How we interact with the grapple hook or anything like that. If you played one grapple hook level, you'll have a good idea of how you're supposed to traverse the obstacles that you find here. Although, I did find for the most part those obstacles to be relatively fun. One point I felt that stood against the level was with camera work. There are a number of places in the level where necessary information is hidden just a little bit off screen. There's a few points where you're gonna be thrown up by a bounce pad, and you're gonna have to grapple onto a rotating bit. Then you're gonna swing to where you need to go. If you don't grapple onto that rotating bit, you'll be thrown into spikes, and you don't actually see those spikes or the prompt for the grapple until you're actually mid-grapple. So that can be a bit of an issue. There's another point in the level where one of the special score bubbles, the 500-point score bubbles, and I appreciated those being in the level. I like that an awful lot. I like seeing that awful lot. Where there's one that's hidden just a little bit off screen from another set of bounce pads, but those bounce pads will go into a forced layer change. And because the way the logic is set up on that score bubble, if you actually land on the layer where you're going to be progressing in the level, that you won't trigger that score bubble to be destroyed or to be disappeared, because it's not actually a score bubble. It's an object with logic on it that gives you score. And that, again, it felt just a little bit unfair, because players wouldn't know that special bubble was there until they'd already passed it. And you have to be on the leftmost bounce pad to actually catch that correctly, or be swinging in that direction at the very least. There was one bit, and I don't know how much of this is on me and how much of this is on the level. We did it in the video, and I did it in my third playthrough, but my second playthrough, there's a spot right towards the end where you're going to be thrown up. There's a forced layer change, and there's a bounce pad that's kind of set into a wall at an angle, and it's supposed to give you the momentum that will take you over a fairly long field of spikes that's going to be coming up, so that you can actually get to the end point of the level. The second time that I played, I simply could not get that obstacle to work right for me. I don't know what the problem is. I did it in the third time. I did it on my second try. I don't remember if we had any problems in the video itself doing that particular section, but it just seemed a bit of variance, some poor gameplay perhaps adding together, and it made that section uncompletable on that playthrough for me. I don't know what was going on, but it is a type of obstacle, it is a type of engagement with the level that I have had trouble with in the past. Angled bounce pads never really seem to work out for me, no matter how they're being used, but if you have similar problems with angled bounce pads, you may have a problem with that bit there, so know that going in. But all in all and overall, I had a really good time with STOCKTOWN by Night. It's about 3.5 minutes long, and we just about made it, the 3-minute point. I think a couple of deaths, if we had shaved those off, that we would have made that with no problem at all. It fits in perfectly with a gameplay schedule that I have right now, and then it may fit in perfectly with the gameplay schedule that you have if you are a little bit busier. If you've got more time to spare, I do recommend Paris is for Lovers. It is a two-part level. There's a not a force level link, but there's a level link badge towards the end of that. But it is really cool. I just didn't have the time to play the entire level this go about. And Tumbledown Avenue as well. Give that one a look, because Remedad did a pretty solid job with that. But I think that pretty much wraps it up for us this go about. So from me, Risco, here in Osaka, to all of you out there, wherever you may happen to be, thank you, arigato, sayonara, see you And ciao.